only on Bloomberg Quint.
Good morning, you're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Akil, the top headlines in this hour. Indian markets raise opening gains. The Nifty hovers around 11,550. India Wix advances. And the rupee continues to tread lower and opens at a record low, hits the level of 71.37 to the dollar. Infosys sees a sharp surge in its open interest as traders take fresh positions in the stock futures. And SEBI refutes claim that $75 billion could be impacted due to the FBI KYC norms.
Okay, those are the top headlines at this hour, but let's also tell you what's happening in the futures and options market. Well, the weakness continues after the last hour selling that you saw in yesterday's session, owing to rupee depreciation, which is depreciated even in today's trading session. And not to forget, the bond yields have touched 8%. The Brent crude prices are hovering somewhere about 78. So all these macro factors are weighing on the markets. 11,568 is where Nifty currently trades. Bank Nifty is down almost 200 points in trade. Just want to pull up the futures of both Nifty, Bank Nifty. Remember, we've started the series with higher premium. Yesterday, also the closing premium was over 50 points. Currently, the Nifty futures premium is somewhere about 43 points. No major build-up seen. On the Bank Nifty futures, where some bit of OI build-up was seen in yesterday's trade. So as we speak, the premium definitely remains on the higher side of almost 160 to 70 points, 12% higher in terms of OI build-up. And the index obviously is trading with some bit of cust. Looks like some bit of fresh shorting has come into the system with regard to the index futures on Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. The other factor which is weighing, and one could have seen in yesterday's trade, was India Volatility Index. We started off the day on a positive note, but the India Wix throughout the session was trading in the positive territory, and towards the end the closing was somewhere about higher by 6%. Currently also it's trading at around levels of 13.5. Quickly, let me tell you what's happening on the options side. If you look at the maximum OI build-up, it is at the 11,800 call and the 11,600 put. Surprisingly, we've breached the mark of 11,600, but no major unwinding has come in for the 11,600 put in today's trading session. So we are yet to see put writers running for cover. As you can see on your screen, 11,700 is the put strike where some bit of unwinding, and definitely you're seeing more of call addition considering market is lower. So writing is definitely seen around the mark of 600, 700 and the 800. In terms of FIs, they're still net long on the index futures, but the last two sessions have been creating more of shorts. As you can see on your screen, almost 4,500 contracts were added there, and also in the last two sessions they've been adding a lot of put longs, so clearly hedging their long positions when it comes to their cash portfolios. The index options data will come up on your screen. A lot of action has been witnessed on the index option side in the last two sessions, Agam. But what about the stock futures? Well,
Navneet, as I've mentioned, it's Infosys which is clearly in focus right now, along with a lot of IT stocks which have actually gained steam over the previous few days. But of course, Infosys is advancing by around 4%, 4-odd%. Balkrishna is the other one, which is looking at a decline in further decline. Actually, it's come off from the levels of 1,300 over the recent past, and we've seen another 18% increase in OI there as well. Mindtree, well, advancing by as much as 3% after it's had its annual investor day, where we had some constructive comments coming in from the management that suggests a further up move at this point in time. We have Adani Enterprises and NIT Technologies also seeing an accumulation in open interest. But that said, there isn't too much otherwise when it comes to unwinding. Infosys is one thing that I'm going to watch out for, and Balkrishna Industries the other, which continues to bear down on the broader markets.
Wow, clearly the list this morning, all the top 5 gainers in Nifty are all ID stocks. A good day because of rupee depreciation, which continues in the market, and hence we are seeing some traction coming back for the ID stocks. We'll get you some views on all these stock futures, but before that, just a reminder, if you have any queries in the futures and options market, please call us now on 022-4540-4141, or also write to us on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, with AskPQ hashtag. Let's welcome our F&O experts then. Nirav, Shah of Nirmal Bank Securities and Amit Shah of Bob Cap Markets are here with us. Good morning to both of you gentlemen, and I appreciate you joining us once again on the F&O Show of Bloomberg Quinn. Amit, what are you doing? Last hour selling yesterday owing to some macro factors, but is it signaling something in the charts? Is the direction changed now? Is it the right time to create fresh shots?
See, if you look at the intensity of the fall, that's, I think, more disturbing factor. Considering the higher top, higher bottom formation and the bearish engulfing pattern what it has formed yesterday on the daily chart, this indicates a negative sign. So a bearish engulfing requires a follow-up selling to confirm that it's a reversal pattern. So having said that, a close below 600 will continue to add weakness to the market, and the comfort lies beyond the yesterday's high, which is around about 650 or 750 odd levels. So till the time these levels are not crossed, I believe market was likely to see some downtrend consolidation, where on the downside 11,500 is the key support. It is now the eyes are on the put writers, how confident they are to hold on to those levels. But I believe the more it spends time below 600, 650, I think put writers will loosen the conviction what they are holding for now, and then we may see a shift in the put writers towards 11,300 levels on the downside. Technically 360 is the next support below 11,500, where Nifty can head towards 2. So unless and until 600, 650 is not crossed on a sustained basis, I believe short-term negative bias remains in the market, where 360, 350 levels on the downside can be tested in a couple of weeks time frame.
All right, so those are the levels that we can watch out for when it comes to the Nifty. Nirav, good morning to you as well. How are you reading cues at this point in time? What is your view when it comes to the benchmarks?
Yeah, good morning, Agam. Just to add to that, the bearish engulf is also happening on the weekly. So if for this week Nifty does, close below 11,650, that can, take Nifty downwards towards even 11,200 levels. So every time, there is a big 500, 600 point rise in Nifty, there are, throws in between where for about 3 to 4 weeks, it remains in consolidation or in the bearish phase. Now it is moving in a upward moving channel formation, and the upward band here is around 11,750, which is where it touched and has finally come down. The lower band here now is around 11,200 odd levels. Also add to that the 50-day moving average is around the 11,240 odd levels. So every time it goes up, it has to retest its 50-day moving average, which continues to become a very good support in this whole rally, and then again go up from there. Add to that, the derivatives data. You see the rollover data here. Nifty for this month, opened the September series with more than 2 crore shares. That's about 2 crore 30 lakh shares. And add to that, the premiums that Navneet said, they're about very high premium, 60 point premium at the start. So that is not a very good sign. I believe Nifty can come down for the next 2-3 weeks, and it can come down towards 11,200 odd levels.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, but let's also check with our experts what sort of strategies they're recommending in today's session. So let's talk about the option strategy first. I believe Nirav Shah has a long straddle on Nifty, but before we proceed, let me just tell our viewers what that strategy means. A long strangle is when one buys in at the money call and put in anticipation of increase in volatility, and the volatility actually when increases followed by expansion in option premium, the strategy will become profitable. Nirav, over to you. What's the strategy you're working on today?
Yeah, see, my basic premise is the VIX is going up. That is one. Secondly, you see in a long-term trend, Nifty is still moving up. So I want to play the trend, but the intermediate trend is downward. So I'm a bit confused whether Nifty is going to go 250 points upwards or downwards. So I don't want to take much risk and don't want to play on the delta. That is why playing a straddle is a safe strategy. I feel you're giving about 260, 270 points here premium, but very likely Nifty is going to move more than 300 points here with the VIX moving up, and that is why you are standing to make a good profit with more than 15 trading sessions left.
Okay, so there you have it. That's Nirav's view, and he is playing for an increase in volatility. He's going along on a straddle, and for which he's going to buy an 11,650 call and an 11,650 put. But we also have another very interesting one from Amit, and he's actually playing a pair trade where you do simultaneously take two positions at the same time. Amit, why don't you take us through your strategy?
Yeah. So as we discussed during our couple of weeks back, the view on the Nifty IT, where it was hovering around 15,000 odd band and rupee around 70 odd band, where we discussed that rupee can depreciate further towards 74 and Nifty IT revising the view towards 16,500 odd. So looking at the broader structure, definitely we have seen IT has outplayed completely since last couple of weeks momentum, and that has carried forward further.
Right.
And with the respecting the view what I have given during the start of the show, where Nifty is showing some cooling off till the time 650 is not crossed, I believe the down leg can be seen towards 11,360 levels where the next support is. So I believe this is a contra trade where one sector will show some outperformance vis-a-vis the other sector. So where Nifty IT one can long at these levels, and Nifty is a short at this level. So my pair trade is buy Nifty IT and sell Nifty. Trade was recommended at 16,000 for IT, which is now 16,100 close to.
Right.
But selling of Nifty as same level at 11,600 odd.
Right.
So if you look at the net spread, it is around 4,400 rupees.
Right.
Now this spread, if it increases, it's a positive for the traders.
Right.
And if this spread decreases, it's negative for the traders.
How do you look at a target for a strategy like this?
Yes. So normally these are the two. One is ratio. You look at either the ratio or you look at the spread. Ideally, if the contract value is same, which is close to around 8.5 lakhs, so this refers that one lot of each is sufficient at these levels. And if you look at the lot sizes also, it's around 75 and 50. Yeah. So just to take an average of 60 odd on the downside. So what I've recommended is a spread which is below 350 odd points. So if I just multiply, the INR would be close to around loss of around 20 odd thousand.
Right.
So one needs to monitor that trade. And on the upside, if the spread widens towards 4,800, 4,900, that's where one can look to exit this trade.
Okay.
So this is a very short term in nature. 3 to 4 days can play off in these kind of trades. And anything beyond this, then the spread can become subdued. So this is a 4 to 5 days play maximum, and one can utilize the spread. Anything below 20,000 and INR loss, one can exit this strategy and can unwind the position on both the legs.
So you don't place any stop loss, you monitor rupee movement?
Yes, because stop loss will happen to, either IT moves sharply or Nifty moves sharply. Right. We cannot benchmark those things. So it's better to benchmark on the spreads totally and define the INR loss accordingly.
And irrespective of what happens, to be sure, the exit in both these positions has to also happen simultaneously.
Yeah, that's very important.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's an interesting strategy coming in from Amit, which is a pair trade, buy Nifty ID and sell Nifty. Okay, but remember to monitor, if you're executing that position, do monitor the rupee movement as well. Let's also bring you some stock future strategies going from our experts for today. Nirav, let me come to you in terms of stocks. Pardon me, what are you betting on?
Yeah, both are sell calls actually, both are breakdowns. The first one is a sell call on iBull Housing Finance. You can sell the future here. It has a breakdown below the 1265 levels. You can keep a stop loss around 1280 and go short with a target of about 1200. The second one is a sell call on Siemens. If you see, Siemens has been making a lower top, lower bottom formation in spite of Nifty going up. It hasn't really moved up. There are a lot of short built up here also. So I believe it can come down towards 980 odd levels. You can keep a stop loss of 1027 and go short.
Okay, so two short ideas coming in from Nirav. Amit, what about you? I believe you have 3 ideas for us this morning.
So as I'm bullish on IT, I like Tata Elxsi at this momentum. Right. The stock is hovering around 1455 odd. Has a good risk to reward considering the consolidation what it has seen last couple of weeks. Followed by strong rollovers during the August expiry. One can place a stop loss around 1420. Considering the uncertainty and the volatility what we are witnessing right now, I've added to buy on dips as well. around 1440 would be a good level where one can average the position of the long side, and on the upside one can look for target towards 1500 to 1530 levels over 1 to 2 weeks time frame. Other idea is sell on LIC Housing Finance. This stock has been making a lower top lower bottom formation since the gap down opening which had happened a couple of days back.
That's right, yes.
The stock has a stiff resistance around 530. Till the time it is not crossing that, I believe the second leg of downwards towards 490, 485 levels can be possible. That can be the target one can look at. And the third recommendation is buy on CESC. Now this stock has given a fresh breakout of its trend line of seeing a series of lower top, lower bottom, and has seen a sharp reversal from here on. I believe this stock can outplay overall in the power space, and the more it holds above 1030, the strength will start building on towards 1100, 1120 levels on the higher side. One can place a stop loss below 1015 on the downside and look for an upside towards 1100.
Okay. All right.
All right, those are some stock-specific ideas coming your way in terms of stock futures, but there are a lot of stocks which are moving around. Pull up Hindustan Unilever. The stock was up down in yesterday's session, 4.5%. Today also it's seeing further cuts, so it's corrected almost 6 to 7% in just 2 trading sessions. Nirav, if I could come to you, the stock was looking pretty good. The charts, I'm sure, because at one point of time, just few trading sessions back, it was trading around its all-time high levels. What do you make of the correction that one has seen? Is it an opportunity to take a fresh position into this counter, or one should wait for more correction?
Yeah. I think one should wait for more correction. It is definitely coming towards its support of 1640 odd levels, which is also its previous bottom. Now see, what has happened is around 1800 odd levels, we've seen, very high volumes which has picked up, and there are signs of distribution. Add to that, there is negative divergence on the longer term charts on the RSI, and that is why I believe it can come down further, at least up till 1550 or 1500 odd levels. On a breakdown of 1640, one can go short in this counter, and for a target of about 1550, you can place your stop losses at 1680.
Okay, well, that's HUL for you, but let's also pull up something like a Balkrishna Industries, which has weakened quite substantially yesterday. This is, of course, on the back of its plans in capital expenditure and something which hasn't really sat well with a lot of these investors. And because of that, the stock is taking a hit of another 4.5% in today's G of trade. There has been further accumulation towards the short side when it comes to Balkrishna Industries, well away from the mark of 1300 as it was trading just a few days ago. Amit, do you think fresh short positions at this point in time can be recommended, or would you advise caution?
Well, this stock has definitely taken by surprise. If 4 days before I was very much bullish on this particular counter,
right,
and the way it has surprised on the downside, of course, post the company's news which has come in. So definitely it has taken the other way around, where liquidation of longs happening along with the shorts getting added. So the stock has violated the key support of 1320, which was seen with intense volume and open interest add-in. So that's a negative sign for the short term. So I believe this pain can remain on the counter, where on the downside 1180 is the next support. If it violates that, then further downside towards 1120 levels can be seen. Now, talking about the comfort level, I don't see till the time 1350 is crossed on the upside, I don't see any comfort in this particular stock for the time being.
Okay.
Okay, that's Balkrishna Industries for you. 2 straight day of sharp correction seen for this one. Let's move on and start taking some queries that we're receiving from our viewers. So this one comes from Ravi Shankar, who writes to us on YouTube. Thanks, Ravi, for writing in your query. He's got one lot of Nalco futures at 77. He's asking if he should hold or exit. Remember, Nalco was one of the outperformers of the August series. The stock was inching higher, and Ravi's got the futures at 77, the lot size being 8,000. He is making losses, Amit, here. What would you advise? To place a stop loss or book losses?
1 second.
Okay, let's just meanwhile pull up the last 1 month chart, since I was mentioning in the month of August, at least for the August series, we've seen some traction coming back into this counter. Last 1 month, it's inched higher by 12 to 13%.
So see, overall, the stock is in a lower top, lower bottom formation. So still there is a lot of room on the upside for the stock to come into comfort zone. So unless and until it is not sustaining above 78, 80 decisively, I think any action towards that would be considered as pullback. So once it violates 71, I recommend a cautious view for this pullback action which is happening in this counter currently. So one can trade with 71 as a key stop loss level and to look for an upside pullback towards 78-80 levels on the higher side.
Okay, we'll take one from Facebook then, and we have one from Naveen Kumar. His question is on the support and resistance levels for Maruti Suzuki at this point in time. I'm going to take this one up with Nirav, but before we go to him, can we just take a look at the futures? It's currently trading at 9,005. That's the September futures. Underlying is actually at around 89.58, so it's a little bit away from, there is a 46-point premium on Maruti Suzuki at this point. But there's very little change in OI in today's day of trade. This is. Nirav, what would you recommend when it comes to Maruti Suzuki and the levels that you would be watching out for in terms of resistance and supports?
Yeah. See, Maruti is moving in a sideways direction. It is probably mostly ranging in between 8600 on the downside and about 9500 on the upside. It is now reaching towards its lower band, so I believe once it comes to 8600, one can be buying this stock with a small stop loss of 8550, and you can see 9500 levels soon. Having said that, the consolidation has gone on from the last 2 to 3 months, so it does take time, ranging in between both the levels, so play accordingly.
Okay, play accordingly, but the stocks today trading in with some bit of gains. Remember, the monthly sales number disappointed the street. Let's see if that was an aberration or not. But let me take the next query on Bank Nifty. One of our viewer, he's bought 30 lots of 27,600 put after paying a premium of almost 35 rupees, and he wants to know if he should hold or cover his position at these levels. 27,600 put strike. Currently, if you look at the premium, let's just pull up that one. I think it's hovering somewhere about over 72, 73, Amit. Should he be booking profits here? I'm just presuming this is for the current week expiry.
So see, if the Bank Nifty has today violated the key range-bound action what it had witnessed from last couple of weeks, the support of 27,850 odd on a closing basis. So I think the more it sustains below this, the weakness can still continue towards 27,500 where the next leg of support is seen. So I would recommend the trade to revise the stop loss on a trailing basis to 27,900 and hold on to this put position, as we have more timeline left for this series, and it has just commenced the leg of downward movement. So another 200 points to 250 points can be accumulated on the downtrend on the Bank Nifty in short term.
Okay, with that, let's pull up something like in Reliance Industries, because our next query is on that one. We have Rajan Kapoor, and he has sold the 1300 call at 14.2. Please advise if I should put a stop loss and what stop loss should be put. So let's pull up some Reliance Industries 1300 call if we can. It's currently at around 14.4. The underlying is at around 1236. This one has also come off levels of around 1300 odd levels. Nirav, your approach to Reliance Industries right now and your view on this specific call. The gentleman has shorted this one.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Reliance is moving in an uptrend. This is just a consolidation of about 2 to 3 weeks in between that Reliance has come down. I believe it is again going to move up about the 1300 odd levels soon and, reach its optimum target of about 1500. So I believe if his call comes to around 18 rupees, he should be exiting his positions and if possible, exit it even now and, shift it towards the 1400 calls. That will be much safer.
Okay, that's Reliance view. That's the 1300 call strike. On Facebook, Sudarshan wants to know, actually he's planning to take a fresh bet on Infosys on the long side and he wants some views. Amit, you've been bullish on Nifty IT, but let's talk about the individual stocks, Infy being the top gainer on Nifty. And I was just checking, the stock's been giving positive returns at least for the last 5 months. But at current levels, would you recommend somebody to take a
Infy Beam, right?
No, sorry, Infosys.
Infosys, okay.
Not.
So see, yes, definitely this stock has been forming a scallop formation on the charts, which is very positive and can see a quick momentum on the upside. Post its bonus, the stock again is finding buying interest, from across the board in terms of open interest, which has also increased massively. So I believe it is in a higher top, higher bottom formation. Any dip which comes towards 735, 730 is still a buying opportunity. And looking at the broader structure, I believe further 8 to 10% upside move can be seen in 3 to 4 weeks time frame. So one can stay intact in this long counter, and any decline towards 35 can in fact look at averaging it out or buying more trades with a stop loss below 720 on a trading basis.
Okay, we also have a question on Asian Paints. So let's pull that one out as well. What Asian Paints has done over the previous few weeks is, well, it's actually come off from the levels of near 1500 odd levels to now around 1351. So there's a little bit of profit taking coming through after the tremendous trend that we've seen in the month of July. August hasn't really turned out to be a desirable month for those who are long in Asian Paints, currently at around 1344. The question we have on well, our social pages is, well, Anand Mishra on YouTube, and his question is it a good time to go long on Asian Paints? You ask any fundamental analyst and they'll say any time is a good time to go long on Asian Paints, but what is the near-term view? Let's pull that up and let's get Nirav in. Nirav, what would your advice be on Asian Paints at this time?
See, before giving the advice, the standard disclosure is I buy Asian Paints every month for investment. Again, now the short-term view is, see, it has come towards its support area of about 1320. So if it hits that, one can be going long. I believe it is making a higher top, higher bottom formation. Every time, it makes a new top, it witnesses about 4 to 5 weeks, of up move where it moves more than 20%. And then, there is a flag kind of a formation on the charts where, it cools off a little, comes towards its support and again starts to move up. So it is now really near its support area and ready to move up, so one can be buying even at current levels and towards support of 1320. You can keep a stop loss of 1290 for your longs.
Nirav, thanks for that disclosure. I remember you had mentioned this in the show last time. I'm just curious to know, why do you buy Asian Paints every month? Is it a technical, long-term technical call, or are you looking at the fundas as well?
See, I've got a group of friends who are fundamental, and we've selected about 3 to 4 counters which are topmost in their own sector. Now, like Asian Paints, HDFC Bank, and Marico. So we buy them for a period of about we buy them every month for a period of 20 years. We are looking at 15% gains every year, and that would really turn our profits multifold in 20 years.
These are some safe bets, I would call it. Marico, HDFC, and Asian Paints.
Yes.
I think we've just got one more query on Yes Bank. So Nikhil Raja on YouTube wants to know if you can go long Amit on Yes Bank futures at current levels. Last 6 sessions, the stock's fallen almost 12 to 13%. Do you think it's bottomed out?
I'll wait for some time. See, looking at the broader structure, still the stock is in a buy zone, but you don't know whether this intensity of fall is going to carry on further towards 320 or no. So I would wait for some time. I'll let this intensity of this fall to somewhere neutralize and find some supportive action around 320 or maybe 315 odd mark. So the way that it has created a gap on the downside from falling from 360 odd, that's the negative formation which has formed.
Right.
So I'll wait for confirmation and see some supportive action to start building into the counter before entering into a long trade.
Okay, that's the view on Yes Bank. And well, we've run out of time on this show, so we're going to thank both our experts, Amit as well as Nirav, for joining us and taking us through their views as well as solving some of our viewer queries. But don't go anywhere, lots more lined up. We're wrapping this edition of the F&O Show, but for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint Live.